Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Listen y'all, okay, I know I had jumped on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City train, but I got off, okay, because you know I need to take a little pit stop. So I was going to pick back up when the action picked back up, and baby, it's on. Okay, if you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then child, welcome back. Honey, let me tell y'all something. Y'all know normally I'm gonna give y'all Potomac before I give y'all Salt Lake City, but tonight the ID channel snapped. Bureau of Federal Investigation and me decided that we were going to review the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City first, Real Housewives of Potomac to follow. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. It's 9:33 a.m. So we pick up with the feds watching, so the ladies are in the Sprinter on their way to Vail, Colorado, but Jen's veil has been lifted, pun intended. So we see Jen saying, you know, Sharif has internal bleeding, so yeah, I gotta go. Okay. The calmness in which she says Sharif has internal bleeding was mind-blowing. Let me tell y'all something. These career criminal housewives, honey, they know how to keep a straight face in the face of adversity if they don't do nothing else. If my man was internally bleeding, and y'all remember when she said, now listen, I've been watching Housewives of Salt Lake City, I just haven't been reviewing it because it wasn't giving the judge that needed to be given, but I have been watching since season 1 up until episode 10. If I had to fight for my marriage during the panorama, and Sharif already threatened to leave every 5 episodes, and I got him back, you think if somebody told me he had internal bleeding, I was going to say, can you take my mic off? Girl, I got to go. I mean, I might be back, but he's bleeding on the inside, so I gotta go. But I might meet y'all up there. Girl, what? Anywho, moving forward. So Lisa said, you know, she was going to call Stu. Now, girl, you calling Stu, you know he not about to answer the phone, okay? Because him and Jen are thick as thieves. So Heather is like, let's all call Jen. Let's give her a head start. I mean, what if she's on the run? Heather, your love for Jen, honey, gonna have you on the witness stand. Maybe you're going to be up there with your left hand on the Bible and your right hand to the sky, honey. I'm just saying. Girl, goodbye. So everyone hops on the phone, and Whitney is telling her husband that she doesn't think Sharif was bleeding. They're like, what? You don't think so? You think she was tipped off? Girl, of course she was. So, child, then we see Lisa on the phone with John. She's like, Jen, the SWAT team just showed up, like Homeland Security. Lisa, gather yourself. Y'all listen to me. I don't know why, but I rewound that 11 times. That was good to me. The sight of her in this coat crying for Jen, baby, that sent me. Oh my goodness, that was so funny to me. And y'all know I'm a goof troop. Moving forward. Girl, not you having a moment during the rundown of it all. So Jenny was looking like, girl, give it a rest. Baby, Jenny was so unbothered on this bus ride. Do y'all hear me? So Heather is like, look, I texted her and I called her. So Jenny, being the voice of reason, she's like, do you honestly think she's going to answer you? Honey, I know I wouldn't. If I knew the feds were looking for me, I'm not answering nobody. Okay? Everybody could be an op. Phones tapped, all that. No, thank you. So in the confessional, Heather was like, you know, none of this makes sense. I mean, I'm still trying to process Sharif about to die. Now the feds are showing up in front of the beauty lab. Oh my goodness. Oh, honey. Heather is so clueless. Child, we need to drop Heather off in the hood, honey. She a little edge. Because, baby, Heather don't know not nothing. Do y'all hear me? And I mean not nothing. Thank God for Whitney. So Lisa is calling her attorney. And child, please don't let Erica find out you calling an attorney over there on Housewives of Beverly Hills, honey. Because her and attorneys and you calling them to see if everything gonna be all right with you, that doesn't sit well with her. Or what? And I just had to add that. Shout out to Erica Jane. Shout out to Erica Jane. So Heather is like, said, well, I talked to them and they said they just wanted to make sure she was okay. They're not trying to get her. Girl. So Whitney was like, yeah, that might be a tactic. And is? Girl, you think they're going to tell you we trying to arrest her? Do y'all know anything? No, girl. They got to remain inconspicuous, although their jackets say Homeland Security. And my thing is this. What did you do for Homeland Security to show up? They don't just show up. You really have had to have done something. So something just ain't sitting right, y'all. So Jenny is like, this has nothing to do with us. Let's just go. Baby, Jenny gets up and grabs Jen's snack pack. She's like, baby, she is something else. She was like, look, I don't really care. I don't really know Jen like that, although we do share a kind of a name, but I'm ready to go. Okay, let's hit the road. I can go back to the house before my husband gets himself a sister wife. I got to go. So Heather said, well, let the body get cold first. The woman just had to evade arrest. The way I hollered at that. I'm trying not to keep hollering in y'all ear on this review, child. But if it was up to me, I would be cackling every few sentences, because that is the way the seriousness, yet the dry humor in this episode was sending me. Moving forward, 10:12 a.m. Meredith arrives at Vail, the Airbnb of it all, and the house is sickening, okay? 10,000 square feet, beautiful views, and I need to Google it so I can plan a trip to Vail. Now let's continue. 10:57 a.m. They're still on the bus trying to figure out if Jen is going to text them back. Child, Jen is not leaving no kind of paper trail. Y'all will not be receiving a text back. Child, move on. So Lisa is talking about how slow she was to leave. She's like, she was so slow to leave. So Heather said, yeah, if I got a call, Homeland Security is looking for me, I'm going to move a little faster. I would hang up and leave. Lisa was like, well, how did they know she was going to be here? Listen, Lisa, honey, they investigate and build their case for months, sometimes years. They don't move unless they know for sure that they got you. Okay, they ain't just coming to see, well, maybe we got a little something, maybe we don't. No, trust me, if they move in, that means they got something. They have probably been watching her and following her for years now. See, they needed that first season to make sure they really knew what they knew. But then after seeing the obscene amount of money that she was spending, they were like, okay, season 2, gotta. Not to mention she's shooting the show. So Lisa said, but how would they know? Whitney is like, they're gonna find her. Well, how would they know? She just kept on repeating it. She repeated it like 17 times. Lisa, they know everything. It's the feds. Whitney goes, I think someone told them. And you know what they were reminding me of? I don't know if y'all on TikTok, honey, but baby, I love me some TikTok in the wee hours of the night when I'm waiting on these videos to upload, and it reminds me of, they're gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know. How will they know? They're gonna know. That's exactly what this scene reminded me of. I was like, child, not y'all doing the TikTok of it all. Anywho, moving forward. So then Heather said, well, can we breathe a sigh of relief that Sharif doesn't have internal bleeding? Lisa said, I never believed that. Nobody acts like that. I'm coming back. Seriously, let me tell y'all something. I get hysterical if they find more than one cavity in my son's mouth. I start falling out, honey. I'm surely not going to try to make it back if my husband is internally bleeding. Like, that didn't make no sense to me. So they're all trying to figure it out. And Jenny thinks they have a warrant. She's like, I think they have a warrant for her arrest. That's why they came here. So Heather is clueless. Child, she really wanted to believe Sharif was in the hospital. She's like, I just hope he's okay. Oh, Heather, honey, it's the naivete for me. Moving forward. So Lisa gets a call from John and she's filling him in. And then she's like, I talked to Tony and I talked to Ryan and they said don't talk to any law enforcement. So then she gonna cover her mouth. Now, mind you, Meredith is her good girlfriend, okay? That's why Meredith didn't want to have nothing to do with you, Lisa, okay? When you was falling over there with Jen, when they were fussing. Because she know how you like to do. She gonna put her hand over her mouth and say, I think Meredith might know something more than what she's letting on. Whole time, Whitney and Heather watching her mouth, honey, because that's how we do, okay? Watching everything you saying. So Whitney is like, Lisa, you're the closest to her. Like, what is going on? She said, she doesn't talk to me about business. Heather said, well, I did an hour-long podcast with her, and I still don't know what she does. But baby, Whitney is on the case. So Whitney breaks it down for us. She's like, Jen does lead generation. You know how when you opt in and opt out on those websites? Honey, let me find out Jen's behind them calling me about my car's factory warranty. Baby, those people are worrisome. Do y'all hear me? How 82 Cavalier got a factory warranty? I don't think so. Child, please, calling me about a car I had in high school. Goodbye. So Whitney is like, as far as what these marketers make, it doesn't equal to Prada and Givenchy. Okay, it's not equaling up. The math ain't mathing. She's spending $1 million a day, but probably making a measly $1,000 every 3 days. Like, it's not making no sense. So Lisa's like, well, do you know something? She said no, but I've always had questions about how she gets her money. 11:35 a.m. They make a pit stop. They're like, oh, we stopping already? I thought we were only stopping twice. Y'all just gotta get off the bus, honey, and get back on so we continue to get into it as we get into it. So Whitney and Heather on the bus, they're like, we feel like Lisa is acting a little shady. Like, she called like 6 attorneys. So then they show us the flashback of her having 6 attorneys on retainer. All right, Lisa, let me find out they got to investigate you too. And you too, Mary. Honey, you better sit down somewhere and make sure that collection plate and that money is accounted for. Child, because I'm watching all y'all. Lisa, why do you have so many attorneys, sis? Like, why? So Whitney's like, she keeps saying someone tipped them off. So Heather said, do you think she did it? She's like, well, I'm not implying that she did, but that's odd. Whitney, you are implying that she tipped them off, but it's okay, girl. That's definitely what you're implying. Moving forward, 12:05 p.m., Price, Utah. So the bus is quiet. Then all of a sudden, Lisa goes, do you think she'll show up? Lisa, no, we don't think she'll show up. Heather said, I hope so. I hope it's just a paperwork issue. Ma'am, Homeland Security is not showing up because of a filing error. They're just not. Okay? Trust and believe. So then Whitney starts going, oh my God. Oh my God. They're like, what? She's like, oh my God. I'm like, girl, what? Just spit it out. My goodness. So then she reads the headlines about Jen being a part of a money laundering scheme. So Heather and Lisa start bawling. I'm like, what are they crying for? Child, the more they read, the more they cry. Whole time Jenny just looking. Lisa said, I feel so bad for her family. So Jenny proceeds to drink her beer. Baby, whole time, Lisa crying. Jenny over there. Maybe she drinking her beer, child. She cannot be bothered. Baby, Jen has been arrested. Poetic justice braids and all. Baby, these two crying like she died and they on their way to the repast. And I'm like, y'all, please just calm down, honey. It's going to be fine. Now, if this is true, Jen, you're despicable. Okay. Now I ain't really just, I don't know much about the case because I haven't really delved into it yet because they're just now getting into it. But it seems similar to what the Girardis were doing, which is stealing from senior citizens and those that are less fortunate. Baby, greed is one hell of a drug. Do y'all hear me? So Jenny said, nobody knew anything. Whitney said, it didn't make sense how much money she had, like how much money was coming in versus how much money was coming out. But I thought she had a sugar daddy. That's it. Child, not a sugar daddy and Sharif. Girl, the tea is piping hot. Do y'all hear me? Whitney said, well, I had a sugar daddy. We know, sis, honey, you married him, allegedly. So then they find out that she can face up to 30 years. And child, what they find that out for, they start hooping and hollering even further. Child, she got Lisa on one side and Heather on the other, and they are boo-hoo crying. So in the confessional, Jenny is like, can we calm down? You're reading one article. Right now, it's no charge. She's not in court. She's saying she hasn't said she's guilty or not. Let's just get the facts straight. So Whitney reads yet another article. Heather said, I knew the business was cutthroat, but not illegal. Maybe a little unsavory. Baby, those marketers are sharks. Do y'all hear me? It takes a special personality to work in that field. Think Erica Jane Jinshaw, okay? They fit the profile perfectly. Moving forward. So Whitney tells them, when you buy data, you can select the demographic. So they target the vulnerable population. And when she was talking about that, it really brought tears to my eyes because someone took advantage of my grandmother that way. She's on a fixed income. She has cancer and she's legally blind, and someone was taking hundreds of dollars from her every month, and she didn't realize it until my uncle gained access to her account. Come to find out, baby, she done signed up for something she didn't really sign up for. That's why when they call you, make sure that you don't say yes. Like if they ask for you, if they say, may I speak to Jane Doe? Don't say, yes, this is she. No, just say, Jane Doe who? Repeat your name or something, because the minute you say yes, baby, they chop it, flip it, and rub it down. And next thing you know, honey, you done agreed to some stuff you ain't really agreed to. Child, y'all better be careful, honey. I'm putting you up on game. That's just a side note. Moving forward. Whitney said they tie them to like a subscription and then they charge their cards every month unbeknownst to them. That is sickening. That is sickening. Ooh. Baby, Whitney knows a lot about this. I was actually shocked at how knowledgeable she was. I was like, okay, you do more than swing around that pole. All right, Whitney, I got you. So Lisa is still crying. Girl, suck it up, Buttercup. So Jenny is like, they're going to raid our house. I can't tell you that. And just as she says that, we see Park City, 1:20 p.m. Overhead helicopters. They're at Jen's house with guns moving in. And then we see her 14-year-old son coming out with his hands up. And let me just tell you something. That broke my heart. Okay. Now that right there, that did something to me. The part about about the elderly people, because I thought about my grandmother, and the part about them going in there and the parents are nowhere to be found. They have guns. They're going in to raid the place, and the 14-year-old is there. That is something that he is going to have to live with forever. Jen, you should be ashamed of yourself. So then production goes over and they're like, we want to know like what's going on. So they tell him that they're executing a search warrant for the residence. Baby, can y'all imagine being 14, home alone, and your house gets raided? Baby, I would piss my pants, honey. That wouldn't be no more good. Do y'all hear me? 2:36 p.m. Lisa calls Meredith. Meredith is all chipper. She's like, hey. They're like, well, did you hear what's going on? She's like, no, I haven't been looking at my phone because I've been trying to get the house together and everything. So what's going on? So Lisa tells her about Jen and the SWAT team showing up and her being arrested. She said, honestly, I'm not surprised by this. Lisa said, you're not? Honey, I don't think so, Lisa, because she don't sound surprised, okay? So she said, too many things didn't add up, and now I know I'm not crazy. Lisa's like, I feel like we don't know her. She said, yeah, y'all don't. I did, but nobody wanted to listen to me or believe me. And then, this is what happens. I was like, ooh, honey, baby, Meredith may be colder than Erica Jane. I got an icebox where my heart used to be. Oh, I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. Shout out to Omarion. Baby, I even got chills. I said, oh my goodness, baby. Meredith said, I could care less. Do y'all hear me? She said, well, while everything is falling apart, we have a beautiful house here. So I'll see you ladies soon. Love ya. Mwah. I said, oh my God. Baby, Lisa was like, I'm shocked Meredith isn't shocked. Honey, I'm not. She don't like Jen. Okay, Jen is not her friend. I don't know why you don't grasp that concept. Moving forward. So Whitney reads an update, 3:16 p.m. Jen is released to the press waiting outside. Jen, can you tell us anything? They said you're accused of defrauding elderly people. Jen, what about your fans? No comment. Moving forward. On this bus, they're breaking down all the ways you can launder money thanks to Ozark putting them up on game. Child. They was like the casino, a construction company, any cash-based business, strip clubs. Jenny was like, nail salons. Nail salons can do it. They were like, laundromats. So then Lisa brings up the fact that Jen has merch. Jen got merch? Baby, you learn something new every day. I said, child, what does she need merch for? Okay, but child, get into it if you don't get into it. So then Whitney has an aha moment. She's like, that's why she's always starting companies. She's like, you dump cash into a startup and then you get to use the expenses as a loss on your taxes. So Lisa's like, okay, here we go again with Whitney thinking she's Nancy Drew. Honey, her and Sutton need to team up and start an LLC, okay? Housewives Busters LLC. So she said, then you can start a business and dump $1 million into it and claim zero profit for almost 5 years. Well, Whitney, don't tell all pile of criminals in training all the secrets. Girl, I was like, shh, honey, don't tell everybody everything. Moving forward. Lisa's like, how does Whitney know so much about washing money? Honey, I don't know, but I'm curious as well, and I'm happy she putting us up on game. Moving forward. 4:13 p.m., Vail, Colorado. Child Meredith showed up. Disheveled wig, no makeup, ready for the trip. I was like, look at Mary, honey. So she's greeted by absolutely no one because Meredith is upstairs taking a bubble bath. Listen, Jen is in the slammer. The ladies are on the sprinter, stressed, and Meredith is sipping bubbly, having a bath. I aspire to be that level of unbothered. Baby, when I tell you my little nerves will be shot, even if I don't like you and you running the same circles with me and we filming a whole show, honey, my little nerves will be shot. I will be all over the Googler. Do y'all hear me? Trying to find any kind of way to dissect an article. Honey, it couldn't have been me. But Meredith said, let me just go ahead and bathe before the helpers get here. So Mary said, proper etiquette. Child, not etiquette. Mary got a little hood in her. Not etiquette, but etiquette. She was like, proper etiquette is you need to be dressed with some food on the table. Child, please don't get Mary started, honey. Not the etiquette. So she asked Mary if she knew what happened. So she said, I'm just heartbroken. I found out from Robert Sr. So Meredith tells her the story about Jen getting a call. Sharif was in the hospital. So Mary said, well, is that true? She said, no, whoever was on the other end, they tipped her off. Here go Mary. Shut that front door. Child, the back one too, honey. It's all a sham. You hear me? So Mary is like, well, I didn't have an inkling. Meredith said, oh, I wasn't surprised. Then Mary in her confessional, she said, we both had issues with Jen, but when she goes down, I'm filled with compassion. But Meredith, she could care less. No, she doesn't care anything about the smooth criminal. Shout out to MJ. So Mary is like, she's been watched. She had to be being watched long before now. Honey, she was most definitely being watched, okay? But as they're talking, I'm distracted because Meredith's bubbles are slowly dissipating and she's covering herself up like a pretzel. Honey, she would have to talk to me after she toweled off. Okay, you're going to have to get out this tub because I'm not about to sit here and I can almost see your whatnots. I don't want to see nothing on you. Okay, and we can talk about this when you get out. Girl, goodbye. Moving forward. So Mary said, well, the FBI doesn't come unless there's facts. So Meredith goes, or someone from the inside told them. You know what this was giving me, y'all? This was giving me season 8 Phaedra and Candy when the feds came looking for Apollo's stuff at Phaedra and Cynthia's house. And to this day, honey, and y'all cannot prove me no different, honey. To this day, I believe Phaedra sent them over there talking about they was watching Watch What Happens Live. And that's how they knew that the stuff was in Candy's garage. Child, please. Phaedra High Class Park sent them right on over there. And y'all ain't fooling me. And Meredith, let me find out it was you. Because, baby, you're a little bit too unbothered for me. Do y'all hear me? Moving forward. So Meredith tells her it was all about laundering and fraud. And Mary is like, so how can you smile knowing this? I couldn't sleep at night. I know that's right. Meredith said, well, you know, she's been going through it for years, but I just sat back and I waited because I didn't want to point any fingers unless I had facts, but now everything is starting to add up. Baby, Meredith is getting her life about this janitorist. 4:56 p.m. They're on the bus talking about how Jenny is needing to talk to Mary and whatnot. Child, we ain't got no time for that, honey. Let them work that out later. We got to keep on delving into the fact that Jen just got arrested in these box braids. So they finally arrive at the house. And the ladies enter. Meredith is still in that tub. Girl, how long of a bubble bath do you need? Child, you had to replenish the bubbles and everything. So they go searching through the house for Meredith until they find her. And she's like, Heather, this is your room. Oh, no, ma'am, honey. You putting a ring around my tub before I can use it? Oh, no, thank you, honey. I would be pissed. But, honey, it's Heather, so she fine. Moving forward. So they discuss the rooms for a minute, and in Mary's room, she's jumping on the bed about to break her ankle on this hard bed, child. But did y'all notice that none of them tried to find Mary upon arrival? Not nobody looked for Mary. Not damn person. Do y'all hear me? 6:11 p.m. Everyone is on their phones, laying across these beds with the outside clothes on. I'm like, child, if y'all don't change and shower, honey, at least Mary did do that right. So they're all telling their significant others about the Jen mess. Moving forward. In the confessional, Mary was like, you know, I forgot Jenny was even going to be here, and I don't even want to be bothered with Whitney. No matter what is happening, Mary still can't stand who Mary still can't stand. Maybe she don't care nothing about what's happening, honey. 8:47 p.m. They sit down to eat, and Meredith said, so what does everybody think? I think where there's feds, there's fire. That's what I think. But, honey, that's just me. Jenny said, I think we're all just shocked. And then Whitney said, well, you know, I had someone tell me that they had a ping on her phone and they arrested her on the side of the road. So Heather said, I thought she was going to turn herself in. Heather, get real. Turn herself in. Whitney said, no, she was running. I don't care if we're on a run, baby, long as I'm next to you. Shout out to Beyonce. Child, I know that's right, baby, on the run. So they were like, you know, I think it's more that we don't know. Girl, it's definitely more that y'all don't know. Y'all don't know nothing. They said, you know, they've probably been investigating her for a while. And Jenny said, no, they've been investigating her since 2012. 2012? Baby. So in the next part of the scene, Mary takes us to church. She said, you know, I feel like she's reaping. What a man soweth, he also reaps. You know, she scammed old people and people that didn't have money, and I never saw good in her. And I was afraid of her because I knew what she was capable of. And let me just say this. That's disgusting to prey on the elderly, because my grandmother and me were super close. So Jen and her 17 assistants would have had to meet me outside behind my grandma. Do y'all hear me? Baby, let me find out you've been scamming my people and I know you. Oh, it's definitely on site. I'm just saying. So then Meredith tells them this story about in September, Jen and her people came into the store to shop and one of them stole a clutch. So she told the store manager, you know, shoot her a text and see if maybe she borrowed it on accident. She said 30 seconds later her phone rang and they said they were going to bring the clutch back the next day. Meredith said Jen didn't take the bag, but she did keep someone employed that stole from me. So that is not my friend. And I have to agree, because if you know someone that you're employing is stealing from someone that you call a friend, why would you keep them employed? Unless you in on it too, honey, something ain't adding up. She said, and I have my receipts. So then the producers roll the footage with the dramatic music and whatnot. Lisa is playing Dorit. She's like, could it have been a misunderstanding? I mean, I'm not saying Meredith is lying, but I'm just saying. Okay, Dorit. No, her employees are thieves, which is crazy because I'm sure that Jen would have bought it for them if they just asked. Like, this ain't making no sense. So then Meredith brings up how she's flagged in Louis V because she pays in cash. Well, honey, I didn't know that was a thing because let me tell you something. When the money starts moneying over on this side, I'm paying in cash. Hopefully they don't flag me, child. Moving forward. So then Heather tells the story of how she put her in an Uber, checked the progress of the trip, and Jen had hopped out about 1.5 miles away. So Lisa is like, what day was that? Heather said it was a Wednesday night. She said, about what time? She said, like at 11, but why? Did something happen? She said, oh, no, nothing happened with me, but, I just want to check and see if she met up with somebody. So then Jenny goes, do you think she's meeting up with another guy? Baby, to be continued. I cannot wait to hear the rest of this dinner table talk. Do y'all hear me? Okay, so this is what I was waiting for. And I'm going to put y'all back up on Potomac in just a minute, honey, because they still talking about the same stuff, talking in circles over there. But I had to make sure that I got us this Real Housewives of Salt Lake City review out first. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. Do you think Jen was tipped off? I definitely do. And I think it was her husband, the one with the internal bleeding and whatnot. Do you think she's guilty of whatever it is they're saying that she did? And would you be as unbothered as Meredith? Y'all let me know down in the comments. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.